We would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we record this podcast, the Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung people of the Kulin Nation. We pay our respects to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples listening today.
Trigger warning for this episode, we discuss adult themes, body image, diet culture, and it contains some coarse language, so please be aware if you have little ears around.
Before we get into this episode, can we just say that sleep is the one thing that affects absolutely everything. Today's episode is made possible by our favorite mattress protectors from Protect-A-Bed, a waterproof mattress protector that you genuinely cannot feel or hear.
And for our US listeners, that is called Bedscape, and I totally agree. I can't tell you how much better I sleep at night, knowing that if something goes wrong, I don't need to change an entire mattress. Hello, and welcome to
Life Academy!
I'm your host, Dena Amy Kaplan.
And I'm your host, Alicia Bannett.
On-screen frenemies.
To real life besties.
Hi, bestie.
Hello, darling.
Hello, darling.
How are you?
This little darling is a tired darling. Yeah, I am so tired.
Oh, dull.
We had our amazing retreat this weekend.
Oh, my goodness.
And it was phenomenal and transformational and euphoric and every amazing thing under the sun. But oh my God, am I cooked from it? Like we really give like our heart, mind, body and souls to it. And it takes a lot out of me. So
I can imagine.
I'm just trying to recover, and I didn't sleep well the nights of the retreat because I was so wired. Like I came home on the second night. On the second night we do it's actually a bit of a surprise. So I don't want to give it too much of a spoiler. But we do like a bit of like an ecstatic dance because
fun,
at that point we've done this like huge breathwork session and we've all been sobbing and crying and hugging each other, and then we just like put on the disco lights and we like get costumes and we all just start being silly.
Yeah.
But I came home and it was like 11 o'clock and Alex was just like, put my down, getting into bed, and I was like pinging. And he's like, Dena, like
relax, babe.
He was like, you're on one. And I was like, oh my God. And so it took me like 5 hours to
It's like Taylor Swift.
Exactly. Like I was taking off the makeup and I was like trying to regulate my nervous system, and I actually was trying to do some of the breath work to calm myself down.
Yeah.
But then I started thinking about the next day and everything I had to do in preparation for the next day. And I'm like on my phone at 3 a.m. writing notes about the things I need to remember to say in our morning circle. That was 2 hours away.
Oh God.
Because I start the morning at 5 because we do our morning circle at 7 and I have to brew the cacao, and it's a whole thing. So I am exhausted, but also like spiritually energized, if that makes sense.
It makes total sense.
Yeah, but just like my physical body, my emotional body is like alive and thriving. My physical body is like, we need to sleep for a week.
Absolutely. I totally get that. It's very
and we had like everything that could go wrong behind the scenes went wrong. It was actually laughable. Like it felt like there was a curse.
Because you were even saying like the episode that we recorded just before it, you were like, there's a couple of things that have like gone wrong. So I've just been so busy in the lead up and blah, blah, blah. I can't believe that more things went wrong
to the point like even we have someone who's a facilitator who's like our helper who basically does all the odd jobs that need to happen, like cleaning up of the plates, setting out the magazines for when we do our vision boards, making sure the oil burners are going, setting up the rooms, the mats, the this, the that, the music's on, the blah, blah, blah. So it's just like it's a full-time job.
Yeah.
5 minutes into arrival, she trips over and breaks a finger. And she's rushed to the hospital.
Oh my God.
And we are like, the three of us, like my auntie Dana, we're just looking at each other like, how are we going to do this without her?
And ChatGPT was already saying like, you are not going to survive this.
You're all going to be like falling over. So we had this like a whole person's job basically was added on top of ours. And then our breathwork facilitator who we fly in, all her flights were cancelled.
Oh my God.
She had to take like 3 buses, a train, it was just like,
jeez Louise.
It was like one thing after the next, but then we would walk out of the faculty room and be like, hello. And
nice and relaxing.
Yeah. And like, so to the guests, like none of them knew what was going on. And then a few of the girls were returning guests. So I kind of said to them at the end, like, did you guys pick up on the drama? And they were like, oh, no, we had no idea.
Nice.
So
that's a nice breath.
We pulled it off
there.
and it taught me that I am a solution seeker and I am able to.
I mean, we had no idea that you were one of those, Dena, honestly.
But honestly, I was like really proud of us. Like, the three of us, I was like, we just figured it out. We made it work. And our guests had the most amazing time. The new facility, like the house is like next level. And just,
it looked beautiful.
It was next level. Like we really have leveled up and it was just amazing. And I was a bit concerned having 13 women. Would we be able to create the same intimacy and connection that we have when we have 6 women?
Mm-hmm.
But it was actually even more intimate and connected because like people were able to hear more stories of vulnerability and validation and everyone was just like, it was just full women tribal vibe connection.
Nice.
And it was amazing.
Love it.
But I'm like half a human today. So I apologize. Yeah, I apologize to everyone today if I'm a little bit loopy and off the mark. But
no, you'll be right, doll. I'll try to pick up the slack, but I honestly I've been sick like since I woke up Thursday morning sick.
No, Alicia.
Yeah.
Winter begins.
The sun goes away and it's like, oh, okay. Time to get sick now. Like Isla had a little cold, right? And so I kind of expected it. Of course she did. But like me and Zach have really been knocked down by this. Oh, no. So I'm in like, I'm on coming up nearly day 7. And like now I'm starting to lose my voice kind of. It's like, I don't know, it feels like something in there is closing up today. I was in the car and I was like, what's going on? Why is this happening?
No.
So like nearly 7 days in and like just the sinuses and the headaches. And I was
you were
like,
already having headaches last week.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's been frustrating. And, because of that, haven't been sleeping very much. So I'm exhausted and
killing it.
Like,
we're both killing it.
Absolutely killing it. But I do have on the end of last week, I picked Isla up from kinder and she was like, oh, can I go run down there? There's like a little oval sort of section. I was like, yeah, babe, go for it. Go have a little run. Then like all of the kids who were coming out of kinder were going for a little run on the oval and her 2 little besties found her and started running around with her. I was like, that's so cute. How adorable. And then their mums came over and we were chatting. I've got kinder mum friends.
You made mum friends.
Yeah. It feels really good.
I'm
and
so
now
proud
like
of you.
Zach yesterday was like, oh, do you want me to go pick Isla up? And I was like, no. I was like, I want to go see my friends.
Oh my God, this is so cute. It's so cute.
Yeah, so that's very.
Do they know you have a podcast yet?
I don't think so.
It's going to be so funny the day they find out you have a podcast and they maybe listen to the backlog and realize you're like
talking
so hyped up about making 2 friends.
Yeah, it'll be funny. I think I'm pretty sure neither of them really care so much about making friends, but we've connected and it feels
so
really
happy
good.
for you.
Yeah.
Kinder friends.
And the fact that the girls are such good friends, like we got cute little pictures of them big hugging and like
it's so nice that she's already made those connections because that's really quickly.
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me with our little Isla, angel of the world.
Not at all.
Do you know when I talk about Isla within the Kaplan family, Ari and Gemma, like they're obsessed with her, like to another level. Like I'm like, you guys don't even know her. You don't know her, and they're like, oh my God, Isla, she's the sweetest child to ever exist on the planet Earth. They're like obsessed with her, and like anything you post, they like send it to me immediately with like a whole commentary on it.
Oh, bless.
Yeah, they're just so obsessed with her. It's so cute.
I'm not surprised. I'm obsessed with her too.
Yeah, me too. She's such a little angel.
The best. But like, I think it's I'm obsessed with my too. I think we're just obsessed with each other's kids.
Know. It's so special. I'm really enjoying this age. Like Maya is just, this almost 3-year-old age. She's just so delicious. Like yesterday I was sitting on the couch and she put her arm around me and then she laid her head on me
baby.
and Alex caught it on camera.
Oh, yes, Alex!
I was like, yes, Alex, good boy, good boy.
Good boy.
Good boy. And she's just being so loving and affectionate, except for when she basically tells me to fuck off every night because she wants daddy to do bedtime.
Oh, of course.
But, you know, I'm used to that. That's been happening her whole life. But she's just being really loving and funny and cute. And she like belts out Frozen. And it's just
isn't it the
so
best?
cute. Let it go. And she like
the faces that go along with it.
The expressions.
Like the feeling.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she does this thing at the moment where we like say, oh, someone's queen. So it'll be like, oh, Stormy's the queen. And she goes, oh, darling. And she bows down. And the expressions, she's like, and I look at her and I'm like, I wonder where she gets that from.
The dramatics.
The drama.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of dramatics, we'll talk about this in another episode, but I've really, really realized how much of like a zero tolerance if I am sick I have for anyone else. Actually, well, I shouldn't say anyone else, for Zach being sick.
For specifically my partner Zach.
For specifically just my partner Zach being sick at the same time, because the dramatics that come along with it, oh my God.
It's a man flu.
It's man flu on steroids, it feels like. But we'll shelf that for another episode because it's like a full conversation.
Another thing we need to bookmark is I did ask you before we got on mic, did you see any of the Oscars gowns?
Yeah, no.
And you obviously haven't had time to. No. I had a little stalk last night and I am really excited to chat about some of the Oscar gowns.
Great.
I do get quite excited about an Oscar.
I get excited about an Oscar gown too. Yeah,
okay,
I want to see all the things.
So I think we'll do another pop culture episode. Hopefully you guys liked our first one. That was like
so
the most
unfact
checked pop culture episode to ever
We'll promise
exist.
We'll do a little bit more fact checking.
I think we need to bring some Oscar red carpet moments. Also like the Oscar winners, because I think there was some big surprises in there. And
we'll do all the
let's
things.
do a little chat about the Oscars because I love the Oscars.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I'm keen.
All right, awesome. But on the topic of exhaustion and sleep deprivation, we have a very special guest here. And I just wanted to preface this by saying we have spoken so much on this podcast about mental health, about women's health, about wellness, about spirituality. But one thing we actually haven't tackled is sleep.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the most important thing in the whole world.
Maybe, you know?
Makes up 50% of our lives and is kind of the defining factor for all of the rest of those things to follow.
Yeah, like how you live your life day to day.
And how you're functioning with your mental health.
Yeah.
And I know from my own experience with awful insomnia and sleep deprivation that when you're not sleeping, everything turns to shit.
Yeah.
So we really wanted to do a whole episode on sleep and the importance of sleep hygiene. And we needed to do that with an expert. Would you like to introduce our amazing guest?
We do have an amazing guest. This is Dr. Sumedha Verma. Please tell me I said that right. Amazing. She's a sleep psychologist and a researcher, and there's so many questions that I have and that I'm sure Dena also has.
So many.
But yeah, I cannot wait to get into this conversation.
Welcome to the Life Academy studio.
Welcome.
I'm so excited to be here. Cannot wait.
We're so excited to have you here. We have stalked you online a little bit and we absolutely love what you're all about because I feel like you make sleep facts really accessible
and also so easy to understand and like I think not one of those things that is boring to listen to
or too scientific. You know, it's like
100%.
Yeah, you're like the cool mom of the sleep
psychologist.
psychologist.
Yes, the cool mom of the sleep psychologist.
Let's go. Yeah, to get that on the tombstone. Love it.
Love that. Could you please give us a bit of a breakdown of who you are, what got you into sleep psychology and your excitement, not your excitement, but your passion behind sleep?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, thank you for inviting me along. I'm so excited. So I'm Sumedha. I'm a clinical psychologist. I specialise in sleep. We know that 2 in 3 people struggle with sleep, but we don't talk about it enough. And 1% of people with insomnia actually get evidence-based help. What's up? So it's a huge issue in our health system, for our workplaces. But yeah, we just, for whatever reason, it gets sacrificed. So my background was actually in sleep psychology. So I did my PhD at Monash University looking at how can we improve sleep from the get-go. So when people become parents, why is it that they have to suffer? Why is it that parents suffer? And so much of the attention is on baby sleep rather than the parental sleep.
Yeah.
So I was watching a lot of 16 and Pregnant when I was, 22, 23. One of my friends had an unexpected pregnancy, shall we say. And I was just fascinated with how people can go through. She was a single mom. How can you go through this experience and utter sleep deprivation and survive and thrive, or maybe not. And
maybe not thrive.
And so I was just absolutely wrapped up watching lots of like Teen Mom, 16, MTV kind of trashy.
So interesting.
Yeah, and I thought it was an excellent idea to help people when they become parents, because if you help parents, you help the whole family. If you help the whole family, you help the whole system.
Mm-hmm. I love that low key. We've said you're a researcher, but you were just watching 16 and Pregnant. That was your research.
100%. You got to live it and breathe it and feel it. Yeah. So my service after doing my PhD and postdoc, developing sleep programs for people all across the lifespan, we saw that these programs really work.
Wow.
And we don't know enough about them. So I set up my own service called Deep Sleep Health to close that gap, give good quality evidence-based information and treatment for people within the community, as well as training up health professionals to provide better night and day care, as well as getting good sleep into workplaces. So it's really reshaping how we think and how we treat sleep exactly where sleep issues emerge.
Fantastic. May I ask, who is your most frequent customer, your clientele? I'm guessing here it's new mothers. Is that who you would say suffers the most with sleep deprivation, or is it across all walks of life? Yeah,
it's across all walks of life. Okay. So there are particular groups of people who we know are going to be more likely to struggle with sleep. For example, with insomnia, women are more likely to experience that. There are kind of social issues for that, equity issues as well. People of colour, neurodivergent folk, queer folk. We know that there are particular groups who are more likely to struggle with mental health, physical health, and of course sleep. But in terms of sort of typical client, it's funny. I work with elite athletes. I work with execs. I work with retirees. I work with it's so diverse
across the board.
Absolutely, yeah. Which is great because it keeps me fresh and working with people that are super different.
Right. And is the thing that you're finding most is that people are suffering with insomnia, or is it something different? Has it got to do with, bad habits going into sleep? Like what are you finding most people are coming to you with?
Yeah. So my specialty is insomnia. I love helping people restore sleep.
I'm gonna book a little one-on-one with you after this.
I got you. Yeah, I just love it. I think that there's something so exciting. I just love when people are able to regain that sense of trust within their body, within their mind, within their spirit. And it's not that hard. Treating insomnia ain't that hard.
Wow. It's fascinating to hear. What you just said about finding that trust in the body again, I relate to so hard. When I was going through my really severe PTSD, sleep deprivation time, I've said this before on the pod, I couldn't even look at a bed without having a panic attack because I knew, and as soon as the sun would go down, I would start to have the panic attacks because I knew what it meant for me was a night of hell. When everyone else would be falling asleep, I would just be lying there tossing and turning and getting more and more panicked and more worked up. And when I got back my sleep, and I take medication, but it's, changed and saved my life. But when I got back that sleep and that ability to trust my body again and feel safe in my body, I can't even put into words how much that meant. Like if there's anything in this life I'm the most grateful for, it would be feeling safe in my own body again. Yeah. And now I'm at a point where I can like nap.
Yeah.
Like I can,
that's great.
like I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
And the fact that I can now sometimes fall asleep on the couch or nap, just to know that my nervous system has come such a long way. I just want to give that hope to people, because I thought I can never sleep without sleeping pills. I'll never be able to naturally fall asleep again. But I do, because during the day I can take naps now. And, 5 years ago, there was no way. I was always in fight or flight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that is transformational. And those stories that really hit the heart, it's lived experience. You know what it feels like to be out of sync with your body. And you know how life feels when you are back in sync, connected with your mind, your body, your spirit, your community. And so that energy, it's golden and it feels so good. And that's exactly what I'm about. So there's something I always say that sleep is transformational.
It is.
Right? It's this sort of not well understood, like, a lot of people think, well, you close your eyes and you just sort of, become inactive or whatever. You zone out, but it's not. It's where we do our dreaming. It's where we do our deep restoration. It's where we heal. Like it's magical,
I love your passion.
Yeah,
it's so beautiful.
With all of that stuff, like what are the sort of cycles? Because you hear people saying, like you'll
REM
be in
sleep.
REM sleep and you'll have this is where you'll get your deepest sleep and blah, blah, blah. Like I feel like there's so much sort of misinformation out there, and there's just lots of people saying lots of different things. From someone who has made this her life, what do you know to be true?
All right, you guys ready for a sexy term?
Oh, so ready.
You love a sexy term.
Sleep architecture.
Ooh, sliding off the couch.
I like it.
So it's the, the mechanics of sleep. So we can look at sleep architecture as, look, we've got our REM sleep, rapid eye movement, where our eyes are like literally darting left and right. Our brain waves are really quite active. Like they kind of look like how we are when we're awake, And so REM sleep's really important for emotional processing, really important for like memory, making memories, laying down, like consolidating memories. And then we have another stage called a couple of stages called non-REM sleep, which is a combination of either light sleep or deep sleep. So most of the night we're going to be sleeping in light sleep, and a lot of people don't know that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Penny drop, right?
Yeah.
So, when people are so hung up about getting enough deep sleep or REM sleep, your body will get what it needs.
Yeah. Right.
It's not about achieving them. We're going to talk about trackers later on. Cannot wait. But look, it's a combination. REM sleep and non-REM sleep, light sleep and deep sleep. And what we do is we cycle through each of these stages many times while we're asleep. And so it's not just stagnant. We're not just in this state of blackout, but we're actually, there's bodily differences, right, through these different. So when we're in REM sleep, it's where we're actively dreaming. So our body is paralyzed so that we don't act out our dreams. And then in non-REM sleep, like we can find some kind of curly, what we call parasomnias, which are sleep disorders that are disruptions of that non-REM sleep. So people might sleepwalk. That's a non-REM sleep thing. Or sleep talk. All people might act out their dreams in REM sleep behavior disorder. So look, sleep architecture, it's made up of a couple of different things. My take-home message for people who are listening is don't stress too much about what your watchers are telling you about the makeup of non-REM and REM sleep. That stuff really is only clinically validated with a sleep study. So it's your watch is not your wearables aren't going to differentiate.
So the 8-hour myth, is that a myth?
100%.
Okay,
yeah,
great.
100%.
That's so good to hear.
100%. So let's talk about that. The myth. Okay. There's so much misinformation when it comes to sleep, and this is why I get so passionate, because at the end of the day, what we need as people is we need the right the evidence-based information that we can trust that actually makes a difference in our day-to-day lives that we can practically implement, So if we're hearing stuff about you're not getting, particularly for someone who's just had a baby or maybe pregnant or whatnot or has mental health, physical health, whatever. So if someone hears that you've got to get 8 hours of sleep and their sleep-wake schedule is completely different, they're going to be taking that information and going, fuck, there's something wrong with me.
It's terrifying.
Right?
Yeah.
Or my body is not doing what it should be doing. And then you find that mistrust. And then when you feel the mistrust, that is the root of all kinds of medical, mental health, medical issues, right? So the 8 hour stuff is a lie.
Right.
You don't need 8 hours of sleep, of consecutive sleep. If you want to go by a general number, I always tell my clients there's no magic number. Your body knows best.
Right.
So if you're feeling, like you're able to function the next day and you're feeling kind of okay when you wake up, you're likely getting enough sleep.
I used to be, I remember I lived in LA sort of on and off, and I would find whenever I would be in America, I'd only need 6 hours of sleep and then my day I'd be like smashing it out. And I'd be like, I'm not tired at all. Like, I don't know why, this is the thing. I'm like, I'm good on 6 hours. But funnily enough, in Australia, I found I was getting more tired when I was only sleeping 6 hours. Such a weird thing. So I don't know if it's, got to do with where you are in the world.
I mean, of course, so you're sick, right? Or you're recovering from a sickness. So when we're sick, we require more sleep because in sleep we get our deep restoration, immunity, like there are physiological where our body needs more sleep when we're sick. So you're likely going to crave more in times, we fluctuate, our sleep needs fluctuate throughout our lives and they sort of reduce as we get older. So a lot of, people that I work with, they come in and they're like, they might be 70 or 80 years old and they go, oh, my God, I'm only getting, 6 hours. And I'm like, what, at your age, that's completely normal. That's okay. There's not, that benchmark stuff that we spoke about with the 8 hours stuff. So it's also – so when I know that when I've been on holidays, I'm so excited. I'm meeting new people, let's go. Like I've got that adrenaline.
Yeah.
If it's, wintertime, sometimes we sleep a little bit more. When it's summertime, because our circadian rhythm, we might get up earlier, go to bed earlier. Like it changes. It's dynamic.
And so in terms of sickness and deep restorative kind of sleep, with that restorative section, because you were saying before you don't need to have all of this deep sleep and, you sleep mostly with the light sleep. Are you getting that restoration in the light sleep as well, or is it just the deep sleep?
Yeah, I love that question. So generally we get most of our restoration, that kind of repair, cell repair in deep sleep. But we get most of our deep sleep in the first half of the night. And then the rest of the night, I'm saying night here, but I just want to say that there are particular folks who don't sleep at night, like shift workers who might sleep during the day.
So true.
So when I'm saying night, just, it's a sleep episode, I suppose, in a kind of wanky scientific way. But yeah, so we get most of our deep sleep in the first half, and then we get most of our light sleep thereafter. So things like sleep apnea, let's talk about that. So sleep apnea is when someone's breathing repeatedly stops or almost stops when they're sleeping. There's a couple of different types, but that's the sort of general.
I did a test for that where they stuck the things all over my head and I had to sleep over in the hospital overnight and they monitored me.
Yeah.
I don't have sleep apnea. No, but we thought that was the cause of my insomnia.
Well,
so I did the whole test for it.
I mean, so with people with insomnia, here's something that not many people know. Sleep apnea symptoms are actually really common in people with insomnia. And for people with sleep apnea, up to half of them will have insomnia as well. Right? So we've always got to have, it's good that you got that, checked out. But to what I was saying before, with sleep apnea, if you're repeatedly waking up and your body isn't allowing that deep restoration, you're going to feel really groggy and tired and sleepy during the day. which is then going to impact your work, your relationships, your mood, your physical health, etc.
Yeah, okay.
Can we talk a little bit about the link between mental health and sleep?
Yeah.
Because I think that for me personally, when I wasn't sleeping, I kind of went insane. You know, like the sleep deprivation really like affected my mental health in such a severe way. And then when I started sleeping again, I was able to regulate again and I was able to live in the world as a functioning human being. But like that always blew me away how much my mental health was dependent on my sleep. Can you talk to that a little bit?
100%. Bidirectional relationship. So it goes both ways. When we're not feeling good in our bodies or in our minds, in our relationships, that is going to have an impact on our sleep health because we're holistic beings. Everything is related. And then it's the other way around too. When we're not sleeping well, we're probably not feeling well. We're not functioning. You know, we're not in our usual state of balance or equilibrium. So yeah, there is a direct link, causation, not correlation, causation, right? And so with most mental health experiences, sleep will be a factor. For example, when we're diagnosing depression, oversleeping or undersleeping, insomnia or hypersomnia, that's one of the core symptoms, and PTSD as well. So, there's a couple of different ways to think about it. You might think about it from the kind of physiological perspective, which is that I said before that sleep is important for emotional processing and laying down memories. So when we have disruptions in our sleep cycle, that is directly impacts on our emotional regulation. We're going to feel more snappy, inattentive, I suppose, just
edgy,
100% energy.
Nervous system just way out.
For sure. And so that then has an impact on some of those deeper, I'm just a bitch, or, kind of those deeper sort of self-beliefs, which can then create further distress and anxiety. So that's one way of kind of looking at the emotional regulation thing. But I think what I try to help people understand when they come to me, most people will come to me with some, I suppose, mental distress that's either triggered the poor sleep or has been a result of the poor sleep. So for me, it's part of the same presentation. Everything is connected.
As you said, it's holistic. Yeah.
Yeah. So when people come to me with, like severe anxiety around, oh my God, I'm not sleeping well. Is this, am I going to die? Like literally, am I going to die? Or is this, am I going to lose my job? Is something bad going to happen? So what I try to do is help people understand that actually it's the fear around sleep. It's the fear around disconnection. It's a fear of abandonment. It's the feeling of discontent within your own body, within your own environment that actually perpetuates the sleep problems.
Yeah.
So I always say to people, how can we put our worries to bed?
Funny.
How can we punny? Yeah. How can we sort of alleviate some of that stress and tension?
And has that got to do with sleep hygiene? And like your
let's talk about sleep hygiene.
Yeah, and like I sort of have to preface that. Can you give an explanation as to what sleep hygiene is? Because for someone who I've never really dealt with really major kind of any sleep issues, and then when Dena has been speaking about it, she's spoken a lot about having good sleep hygiene and blah blah. And I'm like, so like making sure
I'm
you
at
brush
like
your
the
teeth
extreme
before bed,
level where it's like my whole house is red lights at night and like I don't look at tech. I'm
You're
like
those people.
I'm one of those because I've had to be because I've had so many issues with sleep, and I think Alicia and I are on like different ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, sure.
So something that our sleep psych really reminded me of is how important your environment in your bedroom really is for your nervous system. Like it should feel like a breath of fresh air and a nice exhale, not going into your bedroom freaking out or stressing about anything.
100%. My bedroom is my sacred space. And you know how I'm in this new era of upgrading my house?
Yeah.
The biggest mum life hack has been putting mattress and pillow protectors on all of the beds in the house.
Yeah.
It is a game changer. And protected beds, mattress and pillow protectors have this miracle layer where it's not noisy, it's waterproof, it's not squeaky.
Yep.
It is just unbelievable. And I am like, yes, I've reached a new level of adulting. I am protecting my mattresses.
Yeah, I've moved around so much. I haven't really focused on like getting good quality mattress protectors and stuff. But the ones that I have had, it's like I've rolled around and I've been like, oh my, I can hear the plasticky kind of thing. But since I've had protector bed, genuinely, like I sleep so much better. I'm not sweating. I'm not waking up sweating in the middle of the night.
100%.
And then Isla moves around so much and I've been able to hear like that plasticky stuff with the old stuff, but protector bed, I haven't heard a single thing.
You don't hear a thing. And for our US listeners, it is Bedscape.
That's right. Yeah.
Biggest life mum hack. Just look at us being full grown-ass women taking care of our mattresses. Thank you, Protector Bed.
Thanks, Protector Bed, because I don't think the poo era is going to end anytime soon. So just knowing that our beds are protected, we don't have to get rid of an entire mattress if like there's wee-wees or mistakes. We're in our toilet training era as well.
With our dogs.
And then with our dogs and the hair and the crap. But
we
anyway.
got to stay protected. Thank you to Protector Bed for making this episode possible. But I think it would be great for our listeners just to get a bit of an understanding of what sleep hygiene is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And how that, I guess, impacts your nervous system as well.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So the core of good sleep, I always say, is trust. Safety and trust. So we can have all them red lights, all them candles, you know, room temperature setup, nice mattress, good linen. But if we are feeling out of control, we're feeling mistrustful or we're feeling afraid, it don't matter.
Okay. And sleep hygiene is all of those things in terms of like the red lights and the candles.
Yeah,
and
so sleep, so let's talk about sleep hygiene.
Yeah.
So sleep hygiene is a kind of funny term. Like I think there's something a bit problematic about hygiene, you know, cleanliness.
Yeah,
and,
that's what like
it's like a natural need, right? But so sleep hygiene, I think it's an attempt at creating a soothing environment to support healthy sleep. So creating a calm environment, a sleep space that allows us to dip into better rest. So things like, you know, everyone knows this. People listening will know this one. You know, don't look at your phone at night, kind of thing. You know, I'm a little bit controversial on that. I'm like, look, if you find it calming, yeah, why not?
Yeah, okay.
If it's not disrupting, but if it is disrupting your sleep, part of your sleep, I suppose, pre-bed ritual is to actually, how can we create a calming environment for your body, your mind, and your spirit to ease into this very natural process?
Yeah,
which you need.
Right.
So sleep hygiene is things like environmental, you know, calming environment. So lighting, so having dim lighting, soft, like soft linen, I suppose.
Good mattress.
Yeah, good mattress. Comfortable clothing or lack of clothing for some people. You know, things like the pre-bedtime ritual. So, you know, avoiding looking at your phone.
Yeah.
But I should say, and I know that we're going to talk more about this, the number one treatment for insomnia, to prevent and to treat insomnia, is not sleep hygiene. It's actually something called cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, CBTI. And it's the leading internationally recommended approach to really tackling sleep issues and that sense of trust and mistrust that I spoke about before.
Can you tell us more about CBTI?
I surely can. So CBTI is, in my eyes, a framework of helping people reconnect with their natural ability to sleep. So it works so that there are two kind of core elements: cognitive, which is mindset, thoughts, beliefs; behaviors, which is actions, you know, what we actually do, habits. So And I think I'm a little bit new age. I think that there's something more. I think that there's a spiritual component here that we're kind of missing as well of, how can we feel more spiritually aligned and in order for us to let go and to surrender to good sleep. So the cognitive component may be a lot of the time with people who have suffered from sleep issues for a very long time, they may develop beliefs about themselves, like I'm just not a good sleeper. It's always going to be this way. I must do X, Y, Z in order to get a good sleep. I've failed at sleep. Like these are some of the, or sleep is going to be, my lack of sleep is going to be detrimental for my long-term health. These are some of the thoughts, and then kind of they're understandable, right?
Of course, definitely.
So these are some of the, I guess, mindset, the attitudes that people may develop over time. So CBTI is about actually learning the evidence-based education around how your sleep works, which is what I'm trying to do here with you, to give you the science-backed information that we know is how, the theory, the science behind good sleep, to reframe some of these negative thoughts and negative attitudes that people may build up in response to distress in their body and in their life. The behavioural part is, okay, once we know something, how do we apply something? How do we change? We know so much of what our limitations are, but what do we do about that? So I love the behavioural aspect to it. I love once we discover something about ourselves, how do we then make a change to support our positive, like a holistic and positive well-being? So behaviorally, we might ask people to make some changes within their routine. For example, if I have the belief that my sleep must be perfect in order for it to be restorative, I might go to bed too early. I might nap for too long. I might put so much pressure on myself to sleep. So behaviorally, some of the changes that we ask people to make is, well, go to bed later when your body is actually ready for sleep. Don't fight against your sleep.
So going to bed when you actually feel
100%.
Sleepy.
Yeah, I remember my sleep psychologist I was working with at the time, she said to me, there's a difference between being sleepy and tired. And don't get into bed when you're feeling tired because it's 10 o'clock and you think that should be when you fall asleep. Go into bed when your eyes are starting to, like when you're feeling really sleepy. And that might not come till 1 a.m. And, that for me was such a behavioral change because I was like, it's 10 o'clock, get into bed.
Exactly.
Everyone else is going to bed. I've got to be up at
rules.
this. And she was like, so, go and clean the house for a bit.
Yeah,
go and do some mindful coloring in. Go and read a book. Do something till your eyes start to feel heavy and sleepy.
So when I was doing my PhD, I developed a CBTI program for new parents and delivered that with new mums all around Australia in the first year postpartum. And that had never been done before in the world.
No.
So I felt really privileged to actually be working with new parents, new mums, and hearing about some of their struggles and misinformation, I suppose, and empowering them that you can make a positive change, that actually we don't need to sleep when the baby sleeps. There's different ways that you can restore and rest without sleeping itself. And so CBTI is really cool, because it allows people to reconnect with a deeper sense of themselves and how their sleep works in order for us to live a more fulfilled life, for us to feel more energetic. It reduces anxiety and depression, fatigue. It's been used for people with cancer, with people with sleep apnea. There's so much research behind CBTI, but I do want to say it doesn't have to be complicated. So digital, like we can do it online. It doesn't need to be structured over X amount of sessions. It's something that actually can be really accessible. And I mean, I've got a program for that because that allows people actually access that evidence-based information. So sometimes we can hear sleep difficulties too much, CBTI, or sounds really scary. It's actually not. It's actually more simple than we think. But once you do have that education and information, it tends to put a lot of stress and anxiety away around sleeping.
I don't get necessarily a lot of stress about my own sleep. I do when I'm like, oh God, it's so late. Like, and I know that Isla's going to wake up at this time, which means I'm going to wake up at that time and I'm not going to get enough sleep. I get a bit of that. But that, for me, thankfully, doesn't stop me from getting to sleep. However, I do have a question about my daughter. I wonder if you'd have any insights in there. I feel like she's got some pretty low sleep needs, right? She's a ball of energy and hasn't had a nap. She hasn't had day naps for, I don't know, since she was maybe just before 2. And if she does, she goes to bed really late. And what I've been noticing, obviously she's getting very tired now that she's at kinder. Even if she has like a 20-minute nap, that pushes out bedtime by hours, like 10 o'clock. She won't go to sleep till 10 o'clock. If she has a 5-minute nap, that'll push it out by like an hour and a half. And I'm like, how? Like if I have a 5-minute nap, I'm good. I'm just re-energized and I can go to bed at the same time. Why is it pushing out her sleep by so much to even just have a 5-minute nap?
Yeah, great question.
I don't know if there's an answer to it because I feel like all kids are different, all sleep needs are different, all that kind of stuff. But I'd be curious if there's any kind of insights or research that you've found.
Yeah. How old is your little one?
She'll be 3.5 soon.
Toddler. Yeah.
Toddler.
Okay.
Yep.
So sleep across, I've got a number of colleagues in the infant sleep, toddlers, like young person sleep space, and there's just so much misinformation out there and so much expectation.
Yeah.
When I was working with new parents, it was, oh, I've heard this from the maternal child health nurse, and then Facebook or Instagram tells me this, but am I doing the right thing? Is this normal? That fear and the anxiety kind of creeps in. And my colleagues would agree with me. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with your little one for sleeping kind of erratically, or inconsistently. That she's a little one. That's what they do. And
so her being all over the bed as well at night, like literally tossing and turning and sitting up and face planting the wall and that's all, that's all normal.
Sounds like toddler behavior to me.
Okay, great. Good.
And I think, there's so much expectation to be for babies to be or toddlers to be sleeping a certain way. And if I said the same thing to you as adults, you should be doing this and this and this is what normal sleep is, there's so much variation.
Yeah.
And so I think actually loosening the grips on that and going, it is what it is. There's a lot of different factors, hormonally, growth, developmental, stimulation, circadian rhythm, diet, exercise, time of day. Like there's just so much that contributes to sleep behavior. So, but let me nerd out a little bit to help you understand a concept called sleep drive, which you may have heard of.
I've heard of it.
You would have.
I have not.
Is this like the bell curve sort of thing? Is that the sleep drive?
Yeah, so that's probably the true process model. It sounds like you've done a bit of homework, girl.
Just a bit.
But yeah, look, we've got this. We have a biological need for sleep. We're hardwired to sleep as human beings, every single one of us, from when we're little to all the way till we're, older. So sleep drive is the concept that once we wake up, our body will continue to build a hunger for sleep, a need for sleep. We get hungrier and hungrier. We get more needing and needing and needing of sleep until we get to a point where we are just so knackered, our body dips in to sleep, right? It's physically impossible for us to be awake for extended periods of time, even though, the studies show, the kind of weird, unethical studies show that when you do deprive people of sleep, they sleep with their eyes open. So So the concept of sleep drive is that if I take, so I think this is how I explain it to my clients and the clinicians that I work with. If I take a really big, okay, I've got dinner plans, say at 7:00, but at 6:30 or 6, I have a big snack. I'm probably not going to be hungry enough to eat that lobster for dinner because we're going all out fancy. So it's the same thing with sleep. If we take a long nap, that chips away at our sleep drive, say over 20 minutes is kind of the general number. But it might be different for different people. But if I take a nap, it might take me longer to feel sleepier that night in order for me to sleep. So it's not a good or a bad thing, but it's just a thing. It's helping people understand that, okay, if I nap now, that may push out my sleep drive.
But even at any point of the day, like for example, if she falls asleep, remember I was in the car, it might have been like 11 o'clock in the morning, and she fell asleep. It was just the last sort of 5 or 10 minutes of this drive that I had, and she'd fallen asleep. And I was like, well, it's so early in the day, like that'll be fine.
Yeah.
That still pushed out bedtime by a lot. So I do, like, I get the concept of, you know, having a nap and it pushing out further.
Yeah.
But for such a busy little body, especially, I'm kind of like, how is it still being pushed out by so much? Like her sleep needs are just, she's so re-energized if she gets a little sleep in the middle of the day. So that's basically just that,
it's
right?
It's really common.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really common. Like we see that a lot. Kids are growing.
Yeah.
They, their sleep architecture, what we spoke about before, that's changing as well.
Do they get maybe like more, like such a restful sleep very quickly
earlier in the night? So the way that it works, it's a good question. So with sleep deprivation, if you're not getting enough sleep, like the hours of sleep, what'll happen, we know, is that the next night's sleep, your body will make up deep sleep earlier in the night, more deep sleep earlier in the night to restore from lost sleep the night before. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So it's a known thing.
Yeah.
So it's not that, there's so much catastrophization of sleep loss, but actually when people realize that your body's going to make it up, it's going to be okay.
Yeah. And then in terms of, I've heard the new term being thrown around a little bit more these days, sleep debt. What is that?
That's a sleep drive that I just spoke about.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So sleep debt, sleep pressure, sleep drive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because that's the new thing I've been hearing a lot about lately is the sleep.
I think an important thing to touch on is for anyone out there who found themselves in a similar situation to me, which was I had a physical dependency on Xanax for a long time, which was hell on earth. And then even more hell on earth was coming off the Xanax and the aftermath of that, which led to really severe sleep deprivation where actually even if I wasn't sleeping at night, I wouldn't be able to catch up the next night because there was a biological chemical change to my brain and obviously to my nervous system as well. So for anyone who's finding themselves in a situation with substance abuse or with chemical dependencies, I'm not sure if you've dealt with this too much with your work. Like there were times where I wouldn't sleep. Maybe I was sleeping with my eyes open, like you said, but I wouldn't sleep for days on end often because my body was so accustomed to needing the Xanax to sleep.
Yeah.
And now I definitely am in that much better, more natural state of building up the sleep drive and, my body will catch up the next day if I haven't. But there was a period of time where I actually wasn't sleeping for, days on end.
Yeah.
And I do think that's just important for any listeners out there who might be finding that it's not happening for them naturally, that sleep drive isn't, because I think when there's a chemical dependency in the mix, it can be a little more complicated.
Compassion for your body is a really big thing here. And there's no right or wrong way to sleep. And there shouldn't be the expectation, as we spoke about, either. So hearing the 8 hours myth or hearing, it's just unhelpful. some of these social messages that we get around quality of sleep and quantity of sleep. I work with people who, similar to yourself, have histories of substance use or dependence. And I also train clinicians. We know that health professionals just don't get enough training around sleep health and how it has a big impact in physical and mental health, particularly within inpatient settings. And so you've really got to take a personalised approach. There is no one size fits all. You've got to meet the person where they're at and what their unique cultural, social needs are, physical needs, what their mental health needs are. You've got to really take that holistic understanding of what is going to help this person. So I'm working with someone in my care at the moment who has bipolar disorder, type 1. And so when she goes through manic episodes, her sleep schedule will flip completely and reverse. So she'll become nocturnal. Now, if I tell her, look, you need to do X, Y, and Z and get your sleep back into, that's not.
It's impossible for her.
Exactly. So roll with it. I say to her, all right, well, how are we going to make this more comfortable for you to ride the wave? What do you need to hear from me in order for you to feel more trusting in your body, to resume to get back to a state of balance? And she'd probably say to me, and a good clinician will ask the client what they need first rather than tell them, because she's had plenty of that. We all have, right? And she said to me, look, I just want to start to get up an hour earlier to gradually move back into that normal routine for me. So, yep, cool, let's go with that. So instead of, stressing about not getting enough hours sleep or sleeping abnormally or that this is going to be forever, going with what your body needs, but actually having a really good clinician or team of clinicians that can actually support you holistically.
And compassionately.
Compassionate care, yeah. So,
gosh, I wish I'd found you 6 years ago because
I'm here now,
honestly, the bullshit I was served about, like, I'll never forget this one psychiatrist saying to me when I was in a psych unit, he was like, if you just have a really nice hot shower before bed, I find that really works for me. I wanted to punch him so hard in the face for saying to me, like, I hadn't slept in like 8 weeks. And like this guy was like, just have a hot, warm shower. Works for me every night.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I wanted to kill him. Yeah. The rage in me for like the lack of understanding. So to hear you, it actually makes me feel quite emotional to hear you talking so much about like the trust of the body and the compassion. Like those are all the things I know now, but those are the things I really needed to hear when I wasn't sleeping.
Of course. Yeah. And it's something that everyone needs, right? Like it's something that we deserve, that we're entitled to. I always say to people, rest is a right. We have the right to rest.
Yeah.
We've got the right to feel good in our bodies. And even when we're out of balance, we have the right to trust that it will restore.
Yes. And it will repair itself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We are designed to sleep and heal. So, I mean, look, I've been reflecting on a big part of like setting up the service has been a huge thing. It's like it's my baby, it's a huge undertaking. And I think why is it? What is it that's going to sustain me through it? And I really feel like it is that compassion and justice part. Like I grew up with very, very strong women. Very, like my mum's a law lecturer. My sister's a lawyer.
I get a sense of that.
Like I'm Punjabi, so my women, the women in my culture are strong. Like they're strong boned, they're strong willed, they're just hard workers. We've got a word, mehnat. Mehnat means hard work, grit. And I think that is the thing that really enlivens me because I've seen it in my clients. I've seen how they've taught me how to live a better life, and I have the privilege and the power to be able to share that message back to the community and back to the health system that, hey, we should be doing this better.
Yeah.
And we can. We've got the tools to do it better, so let's do it.
You are doing it. It's amazing. Yeah. I have another question for you.
It's probably going to be our last one. I'm just looking at the time because we've got to get off.
Sorry. Okay, my last quick question for you, if it is quick and if you can answer it. My mum has severe insomnia as well. She does she just does. She's like a non-sleeper. She maybe gets 3 to 4 hours a night. She's been like that her whole life. It doesn't really bother her. She doesn't get panicked or worked up about it. She's just in full acceptance about it. Is it hereditary, like having sleep problems or insomnias?
Yeah. So insomnia. So there's a difference. Insomnia is when our sleep problems cause distress or impact our day-to-day functioning.
Okay, so she doesn't have insomnia.
So if she's not affected by, like her mental health, physical health, or if she doesn't believe it to be a problem, then it's not causing, that tension. Yeah. It's probably not. But yeah, so much of our like circadian rhythm, our body clock, sleep-wake cycles, like they are hereditary, but it's really important for people to know who are listening who may have either past experience or have current experiences of poor sleep. Like it can get better. We've got treatments for it.
Yeah.
So through they're Medicare-rebated as well. A lot of people don't know that.
Oh, wow. I didn't
So,
know that.
The people that come and see me have a mental health care plan through Medicare. So, go to your GP, get a mental health care plan and come and see a sleep psychologist.
Amazing. That's really important information.
Yeah.
I feel like
and it's 10 sessions,
idea.
Isn't it?
The mental health care plan is up to 10 sessions of Medicare-rebated sessions per year. But my practice is a little bit different. I work a little bit differently. I'm a big one for, look, you only need me for a few sessions, to be honest. So I supplement my sessions with my online program, which people go. It's the way that I've worked always during my PhD and postdoc, is that if you give people take-home materials, they then go and implement in their own time. You just need the information and the support, that love and kindness and that compassion. But you've got this, go and implement. So you don't need to actually see someone ongoingly for sleep therapy. I mean, that's my framework, and that's what I'm trying to really push.
I think that's an important one as well, simply because I feel like it can be very overwhelming to be like, oh gosh, I need to go and see.
Totally.
Yeah, like not accessible. And
where do I start?
So that's huge info too.
So mental health care plan. We've got a bunch of resources on the website.
And we'll put all your information in our show notes. You're amazing, like amazing. I wish you were my doctor 6 years ago when I really needed it. But I'll definitely be hitting you up if I find myself in struggle again. But thank you so much for that incredible information.
You're so welcome.
Okay, so we like to ask our guests if they have any recommendations or any dream work, as we like to call it, which is like homework but not shit. So it's like dream work. Or recommendations like anything you're reading or watching or listening to or loving, or it can be anything like that. And we can start if you're not ready yet, because we also do RX.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, all right. Well, I'll go lucky last.
All right. I've got one. You guys have all been loving my little fake freckles.
I love them so much.
Asking about my fake freckles. I just wish I had freckles, but I don't. I use the Tarte Cosmetics freckle pen. It's the best. I'm loving it. You pop it on, but the trick I found is to like dab it in with your fingers so it doesn't, it like blends and looks like it's part of your skin.
Nice. My recommendation, I saw this video, I guess like a reel or a TikTok, whatever it is, of this girl saying, I had this book and my goal for 2020, I think she did it last year, her goal for 2025 was to get as many rejections as possible. And so she was like,
What?
But like the reason being is because you don't realize how much you won't get rejected.
Oh,
right.
wow.
Like, and she was like,
unless she becomes an actress.
Well, right. But she was like, I reached out to all these different brands to see if they wanted to collaborate, expecting all of these no's. And look, I got sent this package and I got sent this package. I reached out to this job that I always wished that I could potentially have. And funnily enough, I got a job. I reached out to a theatre company. I've never done any kind of acting, but I was like, I'd love to do something on stage. And I got an audition and I got the job. Like,
amazing.
So it was just this thing of this idea of her wanting to get all these rejections. And so she reached out to absolutely everything and everybody that she thought she might want to like look at. And it was just reframed in a way that it was like, you know, I'm not hoping for a yes. I'm kind of hoping for the rejection so she wouldn't be disappointed if she got the no. And it's like this really great thing that
She got so many
yeses. So
I love that.
yeah, I thought that was a really cool like reframe and just a fun little experiment that you could do because again, like rather than having this anxiety of like, oh, I really want this, you know, this yes, it's like you're expecting the no and you're kind of doing it to fill up your book to just be like, here's a no, yep, here's a no, yep. Like, do you know what I mean? So anyway, I thought it was
very
really cool.
no drafts, Dena.
Yeah.
It's very on brand
Totally
for how
on brand.
I hustle.
Totally.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. Okay, so I have 2 recs.
Yes.
So
Bring it on.
the first one, I was listening to this in the car with my window down and my arm out the window.
Nice.
And Megan Thee Stallion.
I love you. Oh my God.
Every time, like Mamushi or Plan B. Plan B is one of my favorite. Like, just put on some Megan or Cardi whap and just
I'm gonna do that on the way home, actually.
You message me,
Let
show
it
me a
out.
photo. Let it out. That feminine
Nice.
energy. Like
Yeah.
that's what I'm about. So number 1, ladies, do that.
Do
Love that.
Love
The
it.
second thing is actually something that one of my clients taught me, which is beautiful. She was out Cooper Pedy way and she said she's quite a tense lady, but she said to me, look, this was something that really calmed me down was sky bathing. And so at night I made sure that I went outside. I literally went outside and I looked at the stars. And I cast my eyes to the furthest star that I could see in the galaxy. And I realized how small and how connected I was.
I love that.
So that's the other thing.
I do that a
love
lot,
So
actually.
I was about to say I do
Yeah.
that too. I do at nighttime infrared saunas. We're lucky enough to have an outdoor barrel sauna. And I do sort of contrast therapy where I'm in my sauna and then I get out into the cold air and I just look up at the stars. So I do, what did you call it? Sky bathing?
Sky bathing.
Sky bathing.
I do that.
Yeah, whenever I take mud out to pee or poop, I just go outside and I just look at the sky while I can.
Yeah.
God, it's beautiful just seeing the whole galaxy. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Takes
Great
us out
work.
of our
That's great
Yeah.
dream work. That's
Great
really
dream
good
work.
Yeah.
Great app.
Great app. Guys, I'm just going to pop in here a tiny bit of self-promo. You've heard me talk about the retreats on the pod. We only have 2 spots left for the rest of the year.
Oh my
So
God,
if you want to
Dena.
come to the retreat, get in quick because October is about to sell out with 2 spots left.
Wow, amazing. Go on a retreat.
We'll put all the
Unreal.
info in the show notes. And we love you guys. And thank
We
you
love
so
you.
much for that incredible
Thank you.
information.
Thank you.
If any of our listeners want to get in touch with you, you are on Instagram and we'll put all your links in the show notes.
Sounds great.
Thank you so
you
much for
so
coming on.
much.
You've answered some really cool questions and gave some amazing information. So thank you very
Such
much.
a pleasure and a privilege.
Oh, thank
All right, I
you.
think the bell's about
Bell's
to ring.
about to ring. Bye, guys.
We love you.
We love you.